Hello everyone, this is Aidan here, and welcome to... Okay, you can count as episode 3 of Aidan Talks About Presidents. I added an intro just because this video is all about presidents, but... You can count it as episode 3 or not, I don't know what I'll count it as, but... Today guys, we are going to talk about all 46, or technically 45, because of Grover Cleveland, of the United States of America's presidents, from Washington to Biden. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to be ranking them from a 1 to 10. It's going to be very fun. And it's going to take a long time to edit, but it's going to be fun. This is for President's Day. And yes, I will do another Aidan Talks About Presidents episode soon. Probably start a new season maybe. But yeah, so let's start this, shall we? Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to my channel and like this video. And comment. Who is your favorite president? Alright guys, let's start. Number 1 is George Washington. Our first president that ran from 1789 to 1797. He was the first president and he was probably one of the best in my top 5. And he did really good things. He is the only 1 out of 2 presidents that have ran without a political party. So he wasn't a Democrat, he wasn't a Republican, Federalist, blah blah blah. He did really good things as president, and he sets up the presidency for another 44 people. So yeah, George Washington gets a 10 out of 10. Next president. Number 2 is John Adams, the second president of the United States from 1797 to 1801. He was the only president to be a Federalist, and when he was young, he skipped school because he was fishing and hunting. He was also the very first one-term president because he lost an election to Thomas Jefferson, which we'll be getting into in 1 second. But yeah, John Adams, he did good things and bad things. The Alien Act was very stupid of him. I forgot what it's called, but it was like Alien Act or something. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. He was still good, but he wasn't good as Washington. Number 3, Thomas Jefferson, the first president of the United States from 1801 to 1809. He is one of my top 5 favorites because he's amazing. He was the main author of the Declaration of Independence. He was the first Secretary of State under the Washington administration, and he had a rivalry with Alexander Hamilton, by the way, who has a really great musical. I recommend watching it on Disney Plus or seeing it on Broadway. But yeah, Thomas Jefferson was really good, but there's one problem with him, and that is that he had he had like over 800 slaves, I think. It was like 800, and then he also had sex with one of them named Sally Hemings, and that's just really gross. Kind of makes him a pervert, but I don't think no one really cares because he wrote the Declaration of Independence, but still. He's a really great president though. Without the Sally Hemings thing, he would have been a top 10. He would have been 10 out of 10, but with the Sally Hemings, I'll give him an 8.5. He's really great. I still like him. He's one of my favorites, but yeah. Sorry, Thomas, but you won't get your 10 out of 10 because of what you did to Sally Hemings. Number 4 is James Madison, the 4th president of the United States from 1809 to 1817. He was president through the War of 1812, and the White House burned down in 1814, so that was very hard for him, and he had to go to the Pentagon House for the rest of his presidency. His wife, Dolly Madison, is very famous, a famous waitress, and when the White House was on fire, she saved the portrait of George Washington, which is now very famous and an icon today. So James Madison was a very good president, but when he found out he made some mistakes. Like, not bad as like Thomas Jefferson or not James Madison, John Adams, but you know, he was a very great president. He might be in my top 10 or my top 15, but he was really great. I'll give him an 8.5 as well because he found out about some problems in his presidency and he had to change them. So yeah, James Madison will be an 8.5. Congratulations, James. You got a good score. Number 5 is James Monroe, the 5th President of the United States from 1817 to 1825. Okay, I made a video about him in July. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll put in a link in the description. But I think I went a little harsh on him on that video because I thought he was overrated, and I still think he is because of the era of good feelings. And he was overrated. He on the second, when he was running for a second term, no one went against him. So he's really good. He made the Monroe Doctrine, which was very useful for future presidents like Theodore Roosevelt and JFK, and he was a really good president. He probably was in my top 10 as well. I'll give him a 9.5 out of 10. And if you didn't see my video again, I also compared him as Tom Holland should play James Monroe in a movie if James Monroe's in it. Come on, please, Tom Holland, if you're watching this, please, whenever you get an opportunity for a movie that has James Monroe in it, please play him. I only made concept art of it. Alright, let's go to number 6 is John Quincy Adams. He was the 6th President of the United States from 1825 to 1829. He was a okay president. He wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He was okay. He skinny dipped in the Potomac, which is very gross and disgusting. But yeah, he did the corrupt bargain in his election, which made him win, but he didn't get the majority vote. And his opponent had more electoral votes than him, but he still won. His opponent, which we'll be talking about, is the next president we'll talk about. John Quincy Adams wasn't okay either. He wasn't really good. He did some shady dealings, I think, with Henry Clay, but yeah, he was also the first president to get his photo taken. Well, he was not in office, but after office, and he also became a member of Congress right after his presidency. So not bad. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. He wasn't great, he wasn't good, but he was okay, and he wasn't bad. Number 7 is Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States from 1829 to 1837. Alright, he's a good president to us now, but he's still good, but I'm saying a lot of people probably would have hated him if he was president today. A lot of people compare him to our former president, Donald Trump, which we'll talk about later. And he was, quote-unquote, the first president to be the quote-unquote common man. But, yeah. He was okay. He did a lot of good things and did a lot of bad things. He did the Indian trial thing, which was a very stupid idea, and I would never do that. Neither should he, but yeah, he was okay. He was a good president, but yeah, he was also the first president to be in an assassination attempt, not being assassinated, and being an assassination attempt. So yeah, that's very cool. And he also shot someone in the duel. So I'll give Andrew Jackson a 7 out of 10. Let's go to number 8, and by the way, he is okay. Number 8 is Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States from 1837 and 1841. And he is okay. He popularized the phrase okay. Sorry if that was cringy, but he did popularize that phrase. He was criticized for the Panic of 1837, which is not a good time to be president. I'm going to just say that. Or any depression or recession. And yeah, he also co-founded the Democratic Party. Of course, he's not the first president to be a Democrat. That was Andrew Jackson. And yeah, he was not a good president really because of the Panic of 1837. People even gave him nicknames. A good nickname they gave him was Little Magician, but a bad nickname they gave him is Martin Van Ruin. Yes, that's a real name, a nickname they gave him, but yeah, he wasn't. You can call him an okay president. He wasn't really good. I'll give him a 4.5 out of 10. Let's move on to the next president. Number 9 is William Henry Harrison. He's the 9th President of the United States, and he was president from 1841 to 1841. He was the first president to die in office and he died from pneumonia, I'm pretty sure. And he also served the shortest term he was only president for 31 days, so that's like a whole month. So I feel very bad for this guy. He was I can't say how good he is because he died in a month, but he was he fought in the Revolutionary. No, he didn't fight in the Revolutionary War. He fought in the War of 1812. But yeah, I won't be mean and give him 0. I'll give him a 4 out. No, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. But yeah, William Henry Harrison. Not a lot of much to say about him, but yeah. Let's move on to number 10. Number 10 is John Tyler, the 10th President of the United States from 1841 to 1845. He's the same as Martin Van Buren. He could have been okay if he wanted to. He didn't do a lot of good things, and his nickname probably can sum it up for you. His accidency, not his excellency, his accidency. Yeah, he was the first president to the first vice president to take office for the president. But yeah. And he wasn't good. He did bad things, and yeah, he wasn't okay. So that's John Tyler, and he had 16 kids, 7 with his first wife, and I think 8 with his second wife, and he had 1 with a slave, like Thomas Jefferson, which is stupid, but yeah. I'll give John Tyler a 4 out of 10. Let's move on to number 11. Number 11 is James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States from 1845 to 1849. This is a great one-term president, like a great example of him. James K. Polk was a really great president. He did a lot of great things. He got the Oregon Territory. He helped America win the Mexican-American War. He was really great. His life was really good too. He did not run for second term because he said if he wins the election, he would just go for a 1 term, and he did. So he won for 1 term. It was a good idea that he didn't go for a second term because he died from cholera 3 months later. So yeah, that's sad. But yeah, sorry James Polk, but yeah, but he had the shortest retirement just for 3 months. But yeah. So, James K. Polk, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. Let's move on to number 12. Number 12 is Zachary Taylor, the 12th President of the United States from 1849 to 1850. His nickname was Old Rough and Ready, and he was the 2nd president to die in office. He was only president for a year, and he died from eating cherries and milk. And yes, that is true. In 1991, he got his dead body was exhumed, and they still confirmed it was from cherries and milk, I think. But yeah, he was a veteran. He fought in the Mexican-American War, and maybe they War 1812. I don't know. He was okay president. We just learned him in history class this week as I'm recording this, but yeah. He people say that he would abolish slavery if he was alive, but I doubt that because he owned slaves himself. But yeah. So I'm gonna give Zachary Taylor I'll give him a 5.5 out of 10. Let's move on to number 13, Unlucky 13. Number 13 is Millard Fillmore, the 13th President of the United States from 1850 to 1853. He was not a good president. He signed the Fugitive Slave Act, which was terrible because the Fugitive Slave Act is when escaped slaves are found, they must go back to their owner, which, come on. Why can't they just abolish slavery already? But he was a really good president. He was the vice president for Zachary Taylor, and Zachary Taylor died, like I said, so Millard Fillmore had to take his place. And he was the last president to be in the Whig Party. So yeah, I don't like him much. I think he's the worst president we covered right now, but that's going to be changing in like 4 more presidents. So yeah, Millard Fillmore, I'm going to give him a 3.5 out of 10. Number 14 is Franklin Pierce, the 14th President of the United States from 1853 to 1857. He was not a great president either. I think it might be, I'm going to say this, he is worse than Millard Fillmore. Yeah, I changed my mind. I forgot about he exists, but he was not good. He signed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which probably started a civil war, possibly. But you had to feel bad for him, but I'll say that why. But he also, instead of using a Bible for his oath, he used a law book, which is not good, which is very not good for the president job. But yeah, but you had to feel bad for him because right before he was elected president, his son got ran over by a train and nearly got decapitated and died. So you had to feel bad for Franklin Pierce. He wasn't a really great president, so I'll give him a 3.5 out of 10 as well. Sorry, Pierce, but yeah. But he does have a nice grave though. I visited his grave before. It's really nice. So yeah, sorry Pierce, you weren't a great president. Let's go to even a worse president, number 15. You think he's better than Franklin Pierce and Millard Fillmore? Well, you're wrong. Number 15 is James Buchanan, the 15th President of the United States from 1857 to 1861. He used to be the only president from PA. Of course, that changed now because of Joe Biden, but he's the second worst president of all time. He started the Civil War. He did not do anything. He didn't care about any single crap about America. He wasn't really good. He was the only president to be a bachelor, though. So people say he might be gay or not, but yeah, James Buchanan is the worst president we added in this list so far. So I'm gonna give James Buchanan a 2 out of 10. Sorry, James, but you are very terrible. You should have seen what you were going to do. At least the next president is the best president that America has ever had. You want to see who it is? Number 16, Abraham Lincoln. 16th President of the United States from 1861 to 1865. Abraham Lincoln, I'm going to say this in my opinion, I think it's the greatest president America has ever had. By far, he helped end the Civil War and he abolished slavery, which is the smartest idea ever. And he was a really great president. He had really great quotes, like one of his famous quotes I know is, "Don't save anything for tomorrow which can be done today," something like that. And he was a really great president. He was very honest. That's why his nickname is Honest Abe. And he was very smart as well. He was the tallest president at 6'4". But yeah, he was very tall. And he was the first president to be assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. I actually made a whole video about Abraham Lincoln's assassination. I'll also put that in the link in the description. But yeah, Abraham Lincoln is my favorite president of all 45, and he'll still be my favorite at all times. Abraham Lincoln is a 10 out of 10 for sure. Maybe even 11 out of 10 if you want. Let's move on to number 17, because this one is going to turn your heads down. Kill me. Number 17, Andrew Johnson, the 17th President of the United States from 1865 to 1869. The worst president ever. The greatest president is his predecessor, and Andrew Johnson's the worst. He vetoed way too many bills. He undid nearly everything Abraham Lincoln has done. hate him so much. Everyone hates him. He was the first president to be impeached too, which is not good because the president could have been fired. I could hate this president so much if I want to, but I'm gonna not be mean. I'm gonna give him a 1 out of 10. Sorry, Andrew Johnson, but no, you're the worst president of all time. Number 18, Ulysses S Grant, the 18th President of the United States. Finally, we got a good president, other than Lincoln. This is a great comeback after Andrew Johnson. Ulysses S Grant was good. He wasn't great, but he was good, and he wasn't bad, and he wasn't okay. He was good. He was a general in the Civil War, and he was pretty famous, a pretty popular general. He had countless victories, but he was a good president as well. He was drunk, of course. He ran over a woman with his horse and got a speeding ticket on it. But he did give African Americans the right to vote, and that's what makes him a good president. So I'm going to give Ulysses S. Grant a 7 out of 10. Nice job, General Grant. You did pretty good. Number 19 is Rutherford B Hayes, the 19th President of the United States from 1877 to 1881. He wasn't good either. He's the president I think I forgot the most. These three, I really don't know what he did, what he did as president, but I don't think it was good. So, yeah. His nickname that people gave him was Rutherford B Hayes, which is not a good name at all, because it had fraud in it, and frauds aren't good, so. He wasn't good, and he wasn't really good. I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 10. Sorry, but he's very forgettable. At least number 20 is not. Number 20 is James A. Garfield, the 20th President of the United States from 1881 to 1881. Yep. This is another president who died in office. He is the second president to be assassinated. He was only president for about, I guess 6 months. And he was okay. Not much about him, but I think it would have been okay. Probably been good. But he was the second president to be assassinated, and he was the last president to be born in a log cabin. And I actually pass his house when I go to Ohio all the time because I have family there. So pretty cool passing his house all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna give James A. Garfield a 5 out of 10. Let's move on to number 21. Number 21 is Chester A. Arthur, the 21st President of the United States, from 1881 to 1885. Yep, he was another vice president that took over for a president, and I guess he was okay. He really didn't do anything. He had a collection of pants, like 80 pairs, which is crazy. He had an interesting facial hair. And he wasn't really known much, but he might be the only president that is an immigrant. Yeah. He might have been born in Canada. People say he's born in Canada. Some people say he was born in Vermont. Which one do you believe, guys, in? I don't know, but that's an interesting theory. Maybe we'll find out if he's actually from Canada one day. But Chester A. Arthur, he might be forgettable at times, so I'm gonna give him I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Number 22 is Grover Cleveland, our 22nd and our 24th President of the United States from 1885 to 1889 and 1893 to 1897. I'll do him once for this video, not twice, just because it's the same person, but Grover Cleveland, I think he's ironic. He was okay president. He did good things and bad things. He got married in the White House to Frances Cleveland, and his wife gave birth to Ruth Cleveland, which is the candy bar Baby Ruth is named after her. So yeah, Grover Cleveland was okay. I think he's very ironic, and he had an interesting name as well. So yeah, he was also the only president from New Jersey. So yeah, let's go to number 23, because we're 25 minutes into this video. Okay, I accidentally forgot, I give Grover Cleveland a 5.5 out of 10. Now let's go to number 23. Number 23 is Benjamin Harrison, 24th President of the United States from 1889 to 1893. So I'm going to keep this very quick. I'm going to try to make this quick because this video is very long, but he was okay. He was the first president to get his voice recorded, and I'll give him a 4.5 out of 10. He was okay. He did tariffs. Let's go to number 25. Number 25 is William McKinley. He was the 25th President of the United States from 1897 to 1901. He was a good president. He did good things, very good things, and he was pretty good, to be honest with you. He had a good vice president, which was Theodore Roosevelt, and yeah. He was the third president to be assassinated as well, so that's not a good thing. And right after he died, the Secret Service was invented, so yeah. William McKinley is a great president. I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. So yeah. So guys, today, I guess you guys were expecting to see Theodore Roosevelt in this video and all the rest, but this is part 1 of part 2 of this video special. This video took forever to make for this, so this is part 1 of the presidents. So we got through half of the whole presidents from Washington to McKinley. Not bad. So yeah, because if I kept this in to finish all of it, it will be very exhausting for me, and the video will be super long. So I'm gonna keep it short, and start the next upload, and I'll do the next video tomorrow, but probably most likely tomorrow, maybe next week, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of this video. It took me about 2 hours to make this whole video, so please like this and enjoy it. I hope it was very informative to you, and yeah, I'll do part 2 tomorrow or next week, and we'll finish the rest from Theodore Roosevelt to Joe Biden. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 2. Goodbye.